Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Well, perfect time.
That couldn't have been more perfect.
Right?
Pano just wants to see her Alpha game.
Yeah. What's up, Bruce?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Not much, just hanging out, ready to talk some football.
Right on. Nice
That's
to meet
what's up.
you virtually and all.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, sir. Thanks for coming on with us. Definitely appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, I usually scramble about 2 hours before every episode to get all my guests.
I don't think you're quite that prepared.
Yeah, I give it an hour.
It's like 15 minutes. Oh, shit. We have no guests.
Hey, Jake, got anyone that can come on?
Oh, yes. Now I have 27 guests.
Yeah. All right. Well, you jumped in on the right time there, Bruce, because we're live, and dogs are live. We're live on the Dynasty Happy Hour Open Bar here every Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern. Coming with some drinks, some football knowledge, not really, just some hot take analysis. I guess it's not exactly 9:30 Eastern either. We, had some guest issues, and now everyone wants to come on to the Open Bar. So welcome, everyone.
Here at the Open Bar, we do not take ourselves too seriously. So please.
No, whatsoever. I was just saying, I actually said it on air, I believe, but I was trying to say it off air that I start looking for guests about 2 hours before, and Jake was like, no, I'd say more like an hour. Completely accurate. So PSA right now, if you want to come onto the Open Bar in the coming weeks, let me know so you make this easier on me. But enough about that. J Mike, my co-host, how you doing, brother?
My man, I am feeling frisky. Pretty excited. Pretty excited. Hashtag Saxonville still in full effect for all the doubters.
You're telling me, man. You're telling me.
I am indeed, and that's a special one for our guy Mike Stepney. Shout out to Mike on Twitter, mstepney71. He kind of was giving us some grief, and we thought Jacksonville may not last, but right now the boat is rolling forward, and Saxonville looks great. Bortles is not bortling, and life is good.
Yeah, we can win with our supposed workhorse running back we drafted a few years back now. The TJ Yeldon truthers are alive and well. How cool is that? Little TJ Yeldon revival. That was great.
Isn't that the first time he was actually active this year?
Yeah. Marone comes out and he says that he wants to keep him active now so he can contribute a little bit. It's like, yeah, throw him in at quarterback. All right, well, let's get to our guests here. We'll segue right into our most hated guest of the night because he's in our own division between two glorious, hosts of the I almost said Grab Bag Fantasy Podcast. It's like I miss it or something. The Dynasty Happy Hour Open Bar Podcast. I don't know where this train of thought was going, but Kai, we basically are just making fun of you because you're a Colts fan. What's up, dude?
Hey, it's fine. We've been making fun of ourselves all season long, so it's all good. 2-5, nothing to write home about. But for anybody that didn't already know, Dwight Freeney signed by the Seahawks today, so it's kind of a good day to be a Colts fan. Those days are few and far between nowadays, so we'll take what we can get. Former players signing with Super Bowl contenders. That's what we'll take these days.
That spin move coming to a 12th man near you.
Ooh,
I always want to see it. He always signs to a new team, and I always watch, just waiting to see it one more time. Just give me one, Dwight, because I always like that. I mean, I wasn't liking it when he was sacking Garrard and Leftwich around that time. I don't know. Did he ever have a chance to sack Brunell? Is he that dated? I
don't think so. He definitely has Garrard sacks under his belt, but yeah, it's great. I definitely didn't. I definitely didn't delve into a 30-minute YouTube time hole of Dwight Freeney highlights today. That definitely did not happen. So,
wow. Okay,
John,
J. Mike, it's been a rough season.
Do you see what you can do when you do not have kids? This is the kind of lifestyle that you can live. When
Apparently,
you have
you
children.
can just
dial
fire
it
up
back.
YouTube. Yeah, I'm missing out. My bad. Totally screwed my life up.
With NFL Game Pass, you can search players individually and watch every highlight from the past 5 years. NFL Game Pass, if you need anyone that's like, need more viewers, Dynasty Happy Hour Open Bar. Got your calling card right here. Jake, what's up, dude?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here once again. Always a pleasure.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. And it's getting too high to count. I'm running out of hands, but it's always great to have you on.
Yeah, it's always good to be here. It's like you're becoming family at this point.
Wait, we're not?
I said you're becoming. It's, I got to keep you at arm's reach till I really know I can trust you.
Okay.
But, it's coming together.
Like at second cousin level now, trying to
Second-
graduate to cousin level.
Oh, second cousin after 4 times on. Wow.
What kind of
That's
second cousin level?
Like second
Yeah.
cousin normal place or second cousin West Virginia? Like what are we talking?
Hey, don't talk about West Virginia like that. We
No,
got
just-
Stephanie Fuller. She's probably watching right now, and she's going to call you out, man. That's our homegirl and one of our division leaders in our LFO league.
You're right.
What's up,
You're
Steph?
right. Shout out to Stephanie.
Hey, thanks for chiming in there, Bruce. What's up, dude? Meeting you for the first time. You literally got on as I pushed the live button. I don't know how you did it, but you're in. You're here. Thanks for coming within minutes to spare, seconds to spare, really, and happy to have you.
Thanks for having me on here. This is actually my first ever podcast, so I had to
Yes.
string some stuff together just to figure out the Google Hangout. I've never done a Google Hangout either before, so this is all new to me, but this looks like a lot of fun, so I'm very excited.
Dude, you absolutely nailed it.
That's awesome.
There's usually some sort of plugin that someone has to download, and then I'm like frantically trying to help them and let me see, tell me what your screen looks like.
Oh yeah, the plugin really got to me. I had to click a bunch of random stuff just to get on.
Yeah.
It was very confusing. Like I didn't know how to figure it out. I'm also using a Mac, and I'm not really used to it, so it took me a while to figure out.
You're already invited back because this went so smoothly.
Nice.
I can't wait to have you back. Thanks for coming on, Bruce. We'll see you later.
All right. Next week.
Well, Bruce and Kai are kind of new to the game here. Kai over from TFA, the crew over there. Bruce, you're at DLF, yeah?
Yeah, I'm with DLF.
Okay, cool. Well, we've got quite a happy crowd tonight. I'm feeling this, and we've got another surprise guest here soon. Hopefully soon. We'll see. So football, Jacksonville is really we could just keep talking about Jacksonville. How's that?
We don't have to. We can talk. There are 31 other teams. Well, 30 teams in the Cleveland Browns. There are 30 teams, and then the orange and white team masquerading as the color brown.
Right.
But yeah, there are 30 other teams we could talk about. We don't have to spend the whole hour and a half to 2 hours on the Jacksonville Jaguars. We don't have to do that.
So the Jaguars shut out
We
the
can.
Colts, 27-0 this Sunday. Great game. No, that killed me in so many fantasy leagues, though. It single-handedly beat me. When that shutout is worth a lot of points. I'm in a league where if the basically the opposing team needs to score 3 points and it takes off 10 from the starting 20 right away, and then if they score up to 7 or more, then it takes off another 10. So they literally have to score a touchdown to take 20 points away from your opponent, and they shut him out. I was like sort of rooting for the Colts, score a touchdown. Just
At least
one.
kick a field goal, something.
Yeah, even a field goal would have had us win.
They definitely were in position to score 2 or 3 times. I know they had a turnover deep in the red zone. They turned it over on downs. in the red zone, just trying to get a touchdown instead of a field goal just because they were behind so much. And I think Vinatieri missed the field goal as well. I could be wrong about that. I only watched some of that game because I could not stand watching the whole game.
You want to go watch Dwight Freeney highlights instead.
Oh, you have to. You got to. The glory days. That's all.
Yes.
That's all I have left
Man.
as Colts fan. But yeah, the Jags defense is real. Even in the games where they've lost, it hasn't been because of the Jags defense. It's been because of Blake Bortles being Blake Bortles. So this defense is for real every week, especially the pass defense. And if your run game is not top tier, they can stop that too. So Yannick Ngakoue is turning into a monster quietly. Dante Fowler, the secondary is littered with studs. So yeah, this defense does not look anything like it has in the past. It looks completely together, and it doesn't look like it's going away. These guys are young. It's not like they're throwing together veterans off the street. Calais Campbell might be their oldest guy making a difference, but it's not like he's a graybeard or anything. Like Calais Campbell's in the prime of his career, so that team is awfully scary on defense. And if they could just figure out the quarterback situation, they would be a favorite in the AFC, not just the AFC South. So,
Oh, you getting me all hot and bothered there.
and that's a Colts fan saying that, so you guys know that shit's true.
I think I heard Matt Price talking. I think last week, or I guess it's 2 weeks ago now, when they faced the Rams. That was the first time they gave up over 6.5 points to a fantasy quarterback in the season. I gotta fact check that, but that's insane, man.
Gave up what? Sorry,
over 6.5 fantasy points to a quarterback.
Yeah, we did it to him. I've been leaning on Brissett in a couple super flex leagues too, so I was kind of bummed like going in to face Jacksonville a little bit. All right, hey, Katie,
what's up?
What's up?
I made it. I pedaled as fast as I could. I got this new bike. It's beautiful, man. I think it belongs to somebody, but I wasn't quite sure. And I rode as fast as I could to get here. And I got my IPA. I got a torpedo double going. But, man, that bike is a sweet ride. I got to tell you.
I'm pretty sure all the Twitter's about to show up to your doorstep. It's going to be a problem.
I was like, I don't know if you should be riding that bike. This might give you some bad juju in the future. I'm not.
Well, I kind of heard it was good juju.
I just want to go get my recliner right now. It looks so comfortable. My back already hurts.
Well, I got my beer and I got my recliner, and after that bike ride, man, to get here as fast as I could, I'll tell you.
Well, thank you for your efforts in getting here.
I dropped everything, guys. When I heard, I was at the bar, I was paying my tab, and I was like, hey, they need a fill-in. I'm there. I had to drop my buddy off first, too, and he was on the back seat. It was like a bicycle built for two. And, I dropped him off. I was like, see ya.
It's like sending up the flower signal.
That's right.
From one open bar to another.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what's up.
Well, thanks for jumping on last second there, Katie. Much appreciated. We ended up getting a lot of people.
I see that.
Yeah, willing to.
But you know what? There's never too many seats at the bar.
It's true.
There you go. Hey, real quick, Gabe, since and Katie and Bruce, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. Katie, you jumped in on a lot of Jaguars talk right now. Obviously,
I thought I was hearing Colts talk.
Well,
not really.
How bad the Colts
it
are
was a Colts
compared to
fan
the
talking
Jaguars.
about the Jags.
Yes, there you
okay.
have it. Yes.
All right.
So the Jaguars have alternated wins and losses all season long, 4-3. The stretch coming up. They've got the Bengals, the Chargers, Browns, Cardinals, Colts.
So they don't play anybody. That's what you're trying to tell me.
They have 5 consecutive bye weeks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. You couldn't ask for a sweeter schedule without the cherry on top.
Except for the Bengals loss, Chargers loss, and then there's 3 wins after that. But
I'm just asking, could you ask for a more juicy matchup for a defensive line with some pretty sorry offensive lines coming up. Like, could you see after these next 5 weeks, is it fathomable to see the Jaguars with 8 wins?
Yes, but it doesn't matter in fantasy football. Like, whether they win or lose in fantasy, it's who's going to put up the points.
You know what, Katie? You don't
Mercedes
have to take away from our vibe like that.
I'm not trying to take away from the vibe. I'm trying to add to it, man. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you 100%. I think the Jags have a very easy schedule, especially with that defense that they've got. You didn't name anybody that scares me.
Right.
So they can potentially win 5 straight pretty easily going forward.
They could.
Yeah. And then
everybody will be like, Blake Bortles, what? It's like, how did we diss him so bad at the beginning of the season?
And that'll be the thing.
Funny.
He'll fool around and end up just sneaking in. Oh, look, Blake Bortles QB1 again. Told you guys. Told you.
Yeah, it's no longer garbage time. It's time.
It's time.
Man.
Awesome. Yeah, it is funny that everyone was just destroying Blake Bortles for weeks all summer. We were hearing it, and he still deserves it. Nothing's changed. It's just that there's no pressure on him, so everyone's away from him. It's great.
It allowed me to get him in the 13th round of a Superflex startup draft. Thank you very much. He's still garbage time king.
Yep.
He still is producing better than Marcus Mariota for fantasy points.
Tell it.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. I mean, well, for me, he just kind of he hasn't been as good in the red zone this year, that's for sure. But he's also ever since that hamstring thing, he just doesn't look too light on his feet. I don't think he's comfortable. I don't think he's healthy either. So we'll see how he comes out after the bye. But wasn't all that impressed the past few weeks, that's for sure.
Hand the ball to Leonard Fournette. Hand the ball to Leonard Fournette. Or TJ Yeldon in this case, you know.
This is a fantastic random question, and this was thrown out obviously for those that don't know. We've got a live chat going on YouTube. The faithful few from week to week. Shout out to Cody Kutzer with this one. I think he's with the TFA fam as well. There for you, Kai. So I just want everybody just chime in real quick. We'll run down the line. Bruce, we'll start with you. Would you rather your fantasy team win or your NFL team win? I'm guessing Cowboys for you.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl than win a championship with my fantasy team, for sure.
Fair enough. Jay.
Are we talking like a week, or are we talking Super Bowl, homeboy?
Let's just say week to week. We'll say week to week.
Oh, week to week. That's a little different.
See, he went all the way. He was like the ring, the engagement, the proposal. It's like lifetime, forever.
Super Bowl still tears in my eyes. I want one really bad.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, if I can get one of those, I'll take it.
Bruce, how old are you?
33.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I've lived through one, but I was a little kid, so I need one now.
I was live there at one.
Oh, really? That's sweet.
94 Cowboys against the Bills. Their second, the back-to-back.
Oh,
Troy
wow.
Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Leon Lett, James, not James Washington, Washington, not Dwayne. Man, I'm drawing a blank right now, but his name is Washington. He was a defensive player. And Woodson, I met Darren Woodson recently. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Let me name drop real quick.
Yeah.
That was good. What do you say, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I last time I was on, I think I said that I don't want the Vikings to win anymore, just because I don't see them doing anything in the playoffs without Delvin. It's frustrating. At this point, I'd take my fantasy dynasty teams winning, just because even if the Vikings go to the playoffs, I don't see them contending without a quarterback. I mean, hope to God Teddy comes back and he doesn't lose his leg again, I mean, then that's for me, that's the only shot. I think Bradford might even end up going on IR for the rest of the season. He just didn't look right, and I don't trust that knee. Case Keenum is not getting us far in the playoffs. I don't care how good that defense is and how many weapons he has available to him in the passing game. I don't see it. So I just want a good draft pick at this point. So let my dynasty teams win and let me go for those championships instead.
Teddy, come back.
You can pin it all on
Yes.
me.
Player, yes.
Yeah.
What do you say, Kai?
Well, for me, it's gonna definitely be fantasy this year
Because he's realistic and
every
knows
loss-
the Colts have no shot.
Every loss the Colts rack up is just like it's for me. It's like sweet candy this season. I need them. I need that top 5 draft pick. I need another stud defensive player or a left tackle.
Saquon
or
Barkley,
right
no?
tackle. I don't care. I mean, Saquon would be nice, but this team needs more than just a running back. They like Marlon Mack. He's not. I don't see him ever having the workhorse type of role for this team. But yeah, they need a lot more pieces if they want to keep Luck or keep Brissett from falling down. That dude's going to get hurt before Luck comes back. They're going to be down to Scott Tolzien again. So the way the offensive line's been playing, and I mean half the offensive line's on IR too. We lost a guard, and then our right tackle was on IR as well. So an already terrible group is getting thinner and thinner. So we need more pieces. I would rather pick higher in the draft this year. And yeah, so for me, it's very week to week. If I'm out of it for fantasy and my teams are not going to win, then I'd rather have the Colts do well. If the Colts are stinking up the place, then I'd rather have my fantasy teams do well. But, you just have to be in enough leagues that randomly one of them will do good. So, when you're in 10 to 12 leagues, then you have 3 or 4, that are going to be good regardless of if you try or not. So it's a quantity over quality. That's what I say. If you want to keep yourself sane, because if you're in just one league or 2 leagues or even 3 and they all stink, it's going to be a long season.
Completely agree. Gabe.
Oh, it's a really hard question. We've just been suffering for so long, bro. It just feels so good.
Who's your team?
J Mike and myself are both Jaguars fans. So
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we just feels good to get some wins. But like, I know just watching them for so long, and just comparing greatness. I guess it's not there. It's just not there this year. It is a really good team and the defense is great, but they're
still young.
I just can't see it. And so I'm okay with getting better picks too, but I also want, because it's hard to come out of a hole when you're just continuously bad every single year. And so
you're acting like you're a Browns fan. I mean,
it's bad. It is. It is really been that bad for the Browns. They're like the second worst to the Browns, right there with them. I mean, I don't know. So I like the Jaguars winning. I like to see them win this year.
That's the other thing is the Colts I've been a little spoiled, in my Colts fandom.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's what I'm saying.
I've been sort of spoiled.
That's what I'm saying. Is if the Colts lose for a good decade, like that's fine. Like we deserve that at this point. We've been spoiled with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. It's time for the Colts to lose. I need to experience that as a fan.
Time to pay the piper, Irsay.
I was going to say you sound a lot like a Packers fan up until that last sentence you just said, because Packer fans would not admit that they deserve to lose. So,
listen, they do as much as they'll never admit it. They definitely deserve some losing.
You know what? There's always going to be 31 losers, no matter what. We get it.
True that. But not in fantasy. You can all win in fantasy.
Still so salty about the Peyton Manning neck injury, making the Colts horrible and getting that number 1 overall pick. swooping in to get Andrew Luck. Let's just start over on top.
Listen,
Fair.
if I told you guys that I didn't have a Suck for Luck T-shirt that I custom made myself, I would be lying. I would be just straight up lying to you guys. It's in my closet.
Yeah,
I've got it.
He's a closet suck for luck.
Custom
life.
made. No Colts fan would ever admit that. Of course, we did that on purpose. So I won't, but certainly looked that way.
Well, it looked like the New York Jets were the New York team that was trying to suck for Sam, which it looks like he's going to stay in school for one more year, which I don't blame him. But it's actually the New York Giants that suck. Can I say that again? Dallas Cowboy fans, New York Giants suck.
I hate the Giants. Oh,
I do too.
I can't believe
they
the
suck.
Broncos last week. But that's bad quarterback play by Simeon last week that allowed that to happen. But
Oh
still,
my goodness! Yeah.
I couldn't believe that happened. I thought the Broncos were going to roll over the Giants last week, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think as a fantasy community, I don't think we've ever been more wrong about a game this season than that game. Like everyone, no one I talked to or heard from on Twitter, in real life, anything, no one thought the Giants even had a chance to win the game, much less dominate the Broncos.
Well, but you look at the Denver defense and you look at the New York Giants offense, and it's a no-brainer, really. Like, 99 out of 100 times you're going to predict the Broncos. Anybody with looking at the games.
The Giants had no receivers that game. They were all hurt.
Yeah. Well, they had Evan Ingram, and that was it.
Yeah. Against one of the toughest pass defenses in the league. And pass rushes. That's just a tough matchup to overcome.
Who do y'all
It must have been Rocky Mountain High.
Who do y'all like for the best Giants receiver moving forward? We're kind of almost halfway, and it will be halfway for the Giants once they come back from their bye. Who's going to produce the most points from week 9 to week 16 for the Giants receiver? Just
this is not up for debate.
I know what your take is, but and probably everyone's take. It's going to be mine, but I'm just curious if anyone else has an argument for anyone else.
His first and last name begins with the same letter. Yeah.
Alliteration.
Yeah, and it's Sterling Shepard.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's a vowel, not a consonant.
No, that's good. That's good because in the chat somebody else threw out Sterling Shepard. Somebody said, "Hey, Ingram will lead in yards," but it'll be Sterling Shepard that'll be the guy. So this is fun. Let's do this. Sterling Shepard or Evan Ingram.
All right. In all the leagues that I can get him in, I'm trying to grab Sterling Shepard. In his rookie season, he was by far the second best option in that passing game. The man is a route technician. He already has a full season of rapport with Eli Manning. He looked good before he got hurt in the couple games before he got hurt.
How about he's always had Odell Beckham to take away the heat? How about him double-teamed when you got Evan Ingram wide open in the middle? I mean, please.
That's true.
He's never had to be the number one guy, not even at Oklahoma.
That's true. That's fair. But if, from what you guys are saying, maybe defenses aren't going to treat him that way. Maybe they'll treat Evan Ingram as the number one guy. The man is a tight end.
But they don't have a running game either, so they've got nothing to respect.
Oh, they're worried about Wayne Gallman.
Oh, please. Wayne Gallman's mom isn't even worried about Wayne Gallman.
Dang. No disrespect.
And the last I knew, Wayne Gallman still has his bike, so nobody even respects the dude.
Poor Wayne Gallman. I mean, he's obviously he's a young player, and we'll wait to see.
He's got a national championship
ever gets more opportunity, but yeah, he's got his national championship.
That's nice.
But yeah,
for me, Super Bowl.
For me, I'd love to have both of them. Obviously, Evan Ingram is a tight end one, and he is moving forward. He's going to see a solid floor of volume, especially without Odell Beckham there.
Especially without Brandon Marshall there.
Well, yeah. I mean, he wasn't seeing a heck of a lot of targets just because he was playing so terrible before. But yeah, I think they're both good plays moving forward. With Shepard, you're a little worried about the ankle until he does get back. But by all accounts, he should be back after the bye. He was gonna play Sunday before the warm-ups, and they decided, you know what, let's just sit him. We'll give him 2 weeks, and he'll be totally back, ready to go. And without Beckham, I think he's just gonna see so many targets that he's gonna be startable. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 9 to 13 targets a game, just because like the Giants can't run the ball. We've talked about it already. They had one fluky game with the Orleans Darkwa, and that was about it. So I don't really trust the Giants to be able to run the ball, and I think that outside of Evan Ingram, there can still be some fantasy points in this offense in the passing game, just because Eli's going to have to keep throwing it 35 to 45 times.
I like Sterling Shepard as a buy low candidate, but my concern with him would be, with all these wide receiver injuries, are they going to force him to play outside? I mean, I think he's a natural slot receiver. Or is he going to have to take snaps out wide? And then I think it's going to limit his upside where he could really make his hay in the middle of the field.
I'd agree with that. That's fair. And they use Ingram in the slot a lot as well, so that takes away from his opportunities in the slot. He is best fitted as a slot receiver. But when the Eagles were messing around with Jordan Matthews on the outside, I mean, it obviously wasn't the best for him, but he still had some good fantasy-worthy games, and I think you could see the same thing with Shepard. But, yeah, I'd be concerned about that as well. It's definitely enough if you're not, bold enough to buy low right now. It might be enough to wait until after their bye and see what that offense looks like with Ingram, Shepard, and no Marshall and no OBJ.
Yeah, no one's selling Ingram at this point.
No, you can't.
Can I just get one Roger Lewis truther?
Nope.
Crickets.
No.
Tavares King, baby, all the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say dig deeper, maybe Tavares King.
It's funny you guys were talking about, and we can transition from this because I have another question I want to follow up with that we talked about last week, or a couple weeks ago. Eli Manning this season in 7 games has thrown less than 32 pass attempts once, and that was in their lone win against Denver in Week 6. So his attempts on the season, just throw it out there, just for the sake of, hey, if they're going to be throwing this much, the targets have to go somewhere. 38, 32, 47, 49, 36, the 19 against Denver, and then last week 39. Somebody's got to be viable with that many attempts, you'd like to think, which brings me to something that we talked about, like I said, like a week or two ago. NFC East. Who is the best quarterback in the NFC East? Because apparently Carson Wentz set the world on fire on Monday night, and so Carson Wentz truthers are coming out everywhere. So I'm curious. What do you guys think? Best quarterback in the NFC East.
I don't think Cousins is in that conversation. I mean, I think it's close, but he's not in the conversation.
He's carrying the phone for the people with the conversation.
Yeah, he's on the outside looking in. So I think it's between Dak and Wentz. And for this year, I'd take Dak, I guess. But I think they're very close, and I think anybody could make an argument for either side there. I like Wentz a lot too. I'd probably take him long term, but they're both playing out of their heads right now.
Speaking of people who have a lot, speaking of quarterbacks that have a high pass attempts, Cousins and throwing to just kind of everyone, and no one's really succeeding. There's like 5 top 50 receivers on their team or something, and kind of similar to that of Eli, probably just going to dish it around, but still putting up decent numbers. But Cousins is putting up better numbers. He's still what, like top 7 or 8 in fantasy QB scoring. So as far as the best QB though, yeah, I mean, Wentz is on fire, but if I'm relying on someone and he seems to have proven it. And I thought he was going to regress this year was Dak. He's kind of surprised me. So I'm on it.
Fair enough. So with that being said, go ahead, Bruce. What were we gonna say?
Oh yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. I think I go against every Dak still, but it's really close. It's razor thin. I like Dak long term and Wentz long term. I like just Wentz a little better. I like how Wentz has evolved in the passing game, be able to spread around with his receivers more. What concerns me a little bit about Dak is he misses Dez a little bit, maybe about once or twice a game on some throws, and it worries me, but I don't really have that many concerns. But I like both players.
I think you mean that Dez misses Dak. It's all on the receiver. If you're in the zone, you can catch it.
Yeah.
Right? I like both those guys. I like them both. I watched Dak in the SEC, and I liked him, his moxie, just his toughness, everything about him. And I called him my sleeper pick that year. And I wasn't that crazy between Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. But of the two, I picked Carson Wentz over Jared Goff in all the rookie drafts. If you had to, in a super flex, pick somebody, it was Carson Wentz, and then later as a sleeper pick, it was Dak Prescott. And it was only because of his DUI that he fell so far, I believe. I think that in the NFC East, there's room for both of those guys. Dak is more of a technician, if you will, and with the legs, and Carson Wentz can also run, but he's got, man, he can sling that ball. I like the way that he can just sling that ball downfield very accurately, and he's a magician, Houdini, whatever you want to call him. He gets out of trouble a lot for a big guy. He's fun to watch. But as far as picking who's the best, I'm not going to do it. I like them both.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just for like the Eagles and Cowboys fans that we'd be answering this question for, but
I am a Cowboys fan. I'm a Patriots and a Cowboys fan. I grew up that way my whole life.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to run that back game with having two Cowboys fans on, because I felt like the last time I asked that, I felt like Cousins was disrespected pretty heavy, and I think even then the consensus was Wentz, which and we were talking through this on the chat. I feel like a lot of people have Wentz first. I'm just not sure.
He has the higher draft pedigree for sure.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I'm just not sure because like Gabe was saying, I think Cousins' play has been so underrated this year with the changes in the weapons.
But it's every year. It's always that way.
Yeah, with the changes in the weapons and whatnot. So I don't know. I just find that as an interesting point. But the greater point that I wanted to get to was, can you guys name as a team effort get your drinks out.
Always doing this shit, J Mike.
You're welcome. So can you guys name the top 5 quarterbacks in points per game this season? Fantasy
top
points 5 per game? In points per game quarterbacks.
Okay, Watson, obviously.
Watson is number 2 in points per game at 22.
Brady,
Dak, Alex Smith.
Brady.
Somebody said Alex Smith. He's number 3 at 22.5.
Yep.
And Brady.
And Brady,
Brady's number 5 at 20.7.
Yep. So Wentz, Prescott, Watson, Smith, and Brady.
Well done. Well done. Prescott's number 1, by the way. So
but not by much.
Not by much at all. But just to give you a heads up, the 3 NFC East quarterbacks are all top 7 in points per game this season.
Yeah.
I feel like Alex Smith is not getting the credit he deserves.
He's not. I tried to trade him the other day. Somebody was desperate for a quarterback. And he's like, that guy's 37 years old. I'm like, he's 34. Well, but he's got no future. This is dynasty. Yeah, well, he's only 4 years older than Ryan Tannehill, and he's doing a lot more than Ryan Tannehill. Well, but no, I like, yeah, it's like, well, but I don't know where he's going to end up next year.
He's going to be in Arizona or Jacksonville.
Exactly. And he's like, but I feel like every team has a quarterback locked up. And I'm like, really? Have you watched any of the NFL this year? Like, Big Ben is on the rocks. Carson Palmer is on the rocks.
Matt Ryan.
Like, Matt Ryan, I don't know about that. But there's so many teams that are looking for a quarterback. Alex Smith will not be without a job unless he freaking kneels or something. But you know,
Nice.
Which of those guys is least likely to finish top 5?
by the end of the season or
Yep, Prescott,
next year?
Watson, Smith, Wentz, Brady. Who's
Watson.
least likely to finish top 5?
Watson.
Watson.
Yeah.
Watson.
I think he's on a hot streak, but I don't think it's as sustainable just based on what he's got coming up and just in general.
Fair enough. He's got a trip to Seattle this weekend. That'll be
Right.
Yeah, I've hated on Watson enough. I'm done doing it, so I'm gonna bite my tongue. I will not say.
I've got him in
more
a
about
32.
Watson.
I've got him in a 32 team league where every quarterback's employed,
Wow.
and I got him at the 9th overall pick in the rookie draft this year. And I traded Carson Wentz I got Carson Wentz last year at the 109 in this 32 team league. And I traded Carson Wentz for Allen Robinson plus, and then the plus I
Nice.
turned into Deshaun Watson. So I still have Allen Robinson, and I got Deshaun Watson. So really, it's not a huge loss. But sometimes in fantasy, that's what you got to do. Even though you like the guy, you got to trade him.
I think Wentz has a chance, sort of. I don't know. I don't want to say really. I'd say that Wentz could have a chance to drop out too, but I don't know.
You think?
If anyone, I guess. If I was gonna like rank the top 5 guys to drop out of the top 5.
And so, all right.
guy.
So here's the counter question: Who is going to sneak into that top 5?
There you go. I mean, Breeze maybe. It's just weird. It's weird that he's only doing 21 points a game ish or something, and he usually does like 25 a game, which would put him probably. What, J Mike, you have those points per game numbers still, right?
Yeah, who you want?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Breeze is
He's
currently
like
at 18 points a game.
Yeah.
That's good for 8th currently.
Okay, yeah.
He had a bye week already.
And he's been points per game.
We're talking points per game.
Oh, points per game, right?
But he's been a perennial top 5 quarterback for the last, century.
Ever.
So it'd just be bizarre for him to land outside of it. And it's not like 6, 7, whatever, but just like to average 25 points a game, to not average 25 points a game, be in the realm of those other guys would be surprising to me.
And you look at the weapons he's gotten. He's added Alvin Kamara as a receiver out of the backfield, and Kamara can play up the gut as well. But you've got Michael Thomas, Brandon Coleman's looked pretty good. Their tight end hasn't done crap. Tight end by committee, whatever you want to call it. They haven't done anything. Willie Snead, he hasn't done anything since he's been back from suspension, but so he could turn it around in the second half.
Ted Ginn's been
Snead
good.
bums me out.
Yeah, Ted Ginn. I like Ted Ginn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Breeze, I mean, obviously you're starting him. He's, but I think that him finishing top 5, I don't think that's as strong for me just because of the way the defense has been playing. This is the first year in the last like half a decade that the Saints defense has been above like 32nd in all categories. And that's not even that sounds ridiculous, but that's true. Like they're always terrible at something or the entire defense. And it's that this sort of streak that Drew Brees has been on. I think part of that he owes to the defense and the fourth quarter and the third quarter and things like that. I did some research for an article at TFA this offseason about Blake Bortles and his garbage time numbers and why all of that was going to change because the Jags defense was going to be so much better. And then the player that got the second most garbage time points in that research that I did was Drew Brees. And it's just because his defense was that bad. And so, I would be surprised if he finished outside of top 10. But with the way some of these young guys like Prescott and Wentz are playing, I wouldn't be surprised if he, finishes closer to 8th or 9th than he does 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, that's fair.
How about Aaron Rodgers?
I suppose he still got a good point.
Oh, wait a minute. Never mind.
Hey, Jake, you'll find this especially nice. Quarterbacks points per game right now. You never guess who is a fringe QB1 if you're not counting Aaron Rodgers, who's now hurt. If we're not counting Aaron Rodgers, he's currently 13th in points per game. That will be one Mr. Jared Goff. How about that?
He's playing well. I mean, I credit it to Sean McVay. I mean, that's what a good play caller can do for a quarterback, a good young quarterback. I mean, he's playing really well.
Well, give credit to Todd Gurley, man, please.
And Gurley.
Well, that's in credit to McVay as well for utilizing Gurley.
Finally, right?
Game. Thank God. I mean, yeah, I credit McVay for that turnaround.
What's really cool to think about though is that offense is only scratching the surface on its potential, I think. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And their defense is hella good too.
Imagine if Sammy could contribute.
I know, right? If they can harness what is the beauty of Sammy Watkins.
He's so good. I mean, it's so frustrating to own him in Dynasty right now because I want to trade him because I'm a contender and I want to win, but
he can't be the only piece, though. He can't be the only piece that's holding you back. There's got to be some other something.
He's a major piece that's holding me back.
Well, I know what he can do, but I'm just saying, depending on your roster depth, he can't be the only
my
piece.
depth is not great.
Okay. Well, see,
I went studs and duds auction, and I'm regretting it. So
I literally moved Watkins today in a dynasty league.
What did you get?
And my team was kind of struggling at quarterback. Luck is my quarterback, so obviously I've been waiting all year on him, and he's stuck in the IR spot. Can't move him.
Single one quarterback league.
So I've been streaming. Yeah, it's a one quarterback league. I've been streaming, and an offer was on the table: Kirk Cousins and Corey Coleman for Watkins, and I did it just because of it's a mix of I need to win now. My team is 6-1 in that league, so I need. I had no reason to have wide receiver help. I had Golden Tate, Demaryius Thomas, T.Y. Hilton, and then Nelson Aguilar as well. So I don't need wide receiver help. Watkins isn't going to start this year over any of those guys. So if I was keeping Watkins, it would be a long-term play. And I felt if I could get somebody with high upside long-term, like a Corey Coleman, buy kind of low on him right now, and then just get a quarterback that I don't have to worry about streaming. I think it's a one quarterback league, but people have sticky fingers with quarterbacks in that league. There's like 5 or 6 starters on the waiver wire. So for me, plus I like Kirk Cousins maybe ending up somewhere next year. He's in a better spot. I don't know.
Jaguars.
But for me, just to win now, I felt for my team I needed to make that move, and I didn't feel great about it just because. I love Sammy Watkins as a player. I love the things he can do, but he's just not quite clicking with Goff in that offense yet, and they're not quite using him to his potential. And I mean, they've been winning games. It's not like, it's not like he's been holding the team back from winning. So I don't see a reason why they would change that anytime soon. So maybe long-term Watkins if he lands somewhere else, if he plays with Goff for 5 years, I don't know, but. Today I found myself making that move.
That's interesting.
I just love Sammy Watkins.
He's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't hate what you did at all. I just love Sammy, and I have him in several leagues, and I just find it hard to find anything where I'm like, okay, I'm okay with parting with him because I still feel like there's so. Like he hasn't even. I'm hoping that we've not seen his best.
Who are your other quarterbacks, out of curiosity, that you've been streaming?
Let's see, and that guys like Brissett, Kaiser. I was streaming Watson for a little bit, but ended up trading him away for help at some other spots. But yeah, it's not been great. Was using Roethlisberger for a little bit, but I just don't trust the way he's been looking, and especially beyond this season, I don't trust Roethlisberger. So, But yeah, for my particular team, I didn't see a spot this year where I would be starting Watkins over any of the receivers I had, and so I'd rather take a player that I can start right away if I have a chance to win this year. Like I said, if I was 1-6 instead of 6-1, I never would have made this move. I definitely would be playing for years after this, but when you got a chance to win, you gotta give up some stuff sometimes.
He's had one of the most brutal cornerback schedules this year too,
and it's all year long.
That's true.
Yeah,
he doesn't get a
break.
break.
After this bye. It's just still, I was just starting to look at it too. I mean, Giants, Janoris Jenkins, and Texans still have a good secondary without Boye, and Vikings gonna get Rhodes closed. Saints have been
Rhodes closed.
Lattimore,
yeah,
and Cardinals, Patrick Peterson. The Eagles suck ass. So start.
You have a Darby. Will probably
Sammy
be
Watkins
back
in Week 14. Everyone, lock it in.
Hey, that's during the middle of your fantasy playoffs, so why not?
Who knows?
And
by
then
then,
Seahawks,
Ronald
and then
Darby will be back, and then maybe Sidney Jones. So by then, that could be a bad matchup too for at least wide receiver one.
Well, at least
by then, maybe he's clicking with Goff.
Yeah, it's so hard to trade him. I don't really like giving up valuable assets for a quarterback and one QB. I understand why you did it. But I probably would have shot lower for a different quarterback that you could still stream but feel more confident about and hold on to Sammy. Because if he
I tried to go for Russell Wilson, but he wasn't buying it.
He's still going to be, even let's say he does nothing this year, he's still going to be at the very worst
better than Corey Coleman,
a third or fourth round startup value going into next year. So I mean, you can't take.
Maybe
probably I'm just talking value-wise, and startups a decent way to gauge that, I guess.
Yeah.
Cousins is probably, a 7th-round startup pick, 8th-round startup pick. So it's hard to do, and I understand why you did it.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about this league is it's a bit of a weird format. We started it, started it this year, and it's for the first year it's going to be a 10-keeper league, not a true dynasty. And then the year after that, we'll have a rookie draft, and it'll be full dynasty. So for me, I was just looking at the 10 people that I would keep, and Watkins was like right on that bubble of the 10 players I would have kept. So,
is your quarterback scoring just 4-point passing touchdowns?
Yeah, just normal 4-point stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I doubt I'll keep Cousins as part of that.
Will you even keep Corey Coleman next year, though?
Yeah,
like I said, that would be another fringe player, but he'll probably come back this season. There'll probably be some weeks where he's startable. And I don't know. I mean, he's always played well when he was on the field. He just hasn't been on the field yet.
Sounds
like I doubt
Sammy
the Browns
Watkins.
Quarterback situation does anything but get better. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
It does sound a lot like Sammy Watkins. So that makes me feel a little bit better about it. But yeah, like I said, it was more about trying to win now than anything.
So let me throw you a trade that I was, he ended up rejecting it, but there was a lot of talk about it just involving Sammy. I offered it, and I don't even feel good about it, but I was just, I wanted something because I'm frustrated, but I was giving up Sammy and Mac Hollins for Devontae Adams, who again, he could be in the same boat as Sammy right now, not getting anything for the rest of the year unless Aaron comes back, but Devontae Adams, James White, and Jamison Crowder.
I like that a little bit. I like that a little bit better than what I did, but that's because I'm a big Jamison Crowder fan. But despite how little he's been involved.
That's the straw that broke it and didn't get it done because I wanted something on top. I was actually shooting for Devontae Adams and Aguilar, and he's like, "No, that's not going to happen." So. I still value Sammy, and that's why it's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard to trade him because as liking the player, you value him much more than anybody else will because they see the production that he's been putting up.
The whole thing that you've got to ask yourself when it comes to dynasty assets, number one, are they elite? Sammy Watkins is elite. He was drafted in the top 10, and
before Mike Evans.
Well, no, but even the whole point is Where was he drafted, and did he flash? Did he show you what he can do? The answer is yes.
No, I'm with
He's
you.
absolutely proved that he can do. Yes, he's had injury, and yes, he's had bad quarterback play, and yes, he's, with this trade and everything, underutilized. The whole point is those are the guys you've got to be patient with. Davante Adams, as much as I love him, he was not an elite draft pick. He's good, and I like him a lot. But if you're going to give up an elite asset to get a couple of quarters, I wouldn't do that. Because, yes, it's win now. I get that. But I would rather construct a different deal.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm kind of relieved that he didn't accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, like you just said about these players that you'd like to hold on to them. It's never feels good to sell low on any player.
Right.
But I mean, it obviously, it depends on what your team is. It depends on what your
depth of the rosters, and
the depth of the roster.
The whole point is you've got to insulate yourself against the highs and the lows, because every player is going to go through it. Amari Cooper is a good example, and he may not be back on track even with the 1 week, but he's elite, and he has flashed it many times, and he's got a good young quarterback. So all of those things being factored in, I'm much more able to give him a bigger leash. And even if I don't start him, if I've got 5 or 6 wide receivers, which most people in Dynasty, that's you try to hoard the wide receivers and fill in at the running back and other positions. It depends on the format and everything. But okay, I can cut him a little bit of slack and give him some patience. But the beauty of Dynasty is people aren't that patient. They preach it, they say it, but man, you can still buy low on some of these guys.
In the last 15 years, I pulled up some data that I was curious about listening to y'all, and there's only been, let's see, adding real quick math, about 23 players to be exact, in the last 16 years that have returned to top 12 status, either 2 or more times, basically. Only 23 players. Like, that's, I don't know.
A very small amount.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the chance of it happening out of the percentage of players collectively in the last 16 years is a little less than 30%. So, I mean, it's just not, the odds aren't even great for them to return in the first place. So it's like you have to evaluate different things, not just that you're expecting them to return to a top 12 every year. It's just not as realistic as you want it to be. So
okay, but the other side of the coin is, and people forget this all the time, fantasy football is a week by week proposition. Yeah. And is Amari Cooper good for 5 weeks out of a year where he's elite, where he's like top 12? It doesn't matter if he finishes the season as a top 12 asset. Can he give you top 12 5 games out of 13?
Yep.
Can he give you, and it's like, look at Julio Jones. He's on a touchdown drought. He's really never been elite when it comes to touchdowns. His eliteness has been with his yards and his targets and catching the passes that he does. But he's never been a touchdown hog. Never. So he's boom or bust. He's going to put up 8 or 30 fantasy points in any given week. 8 is not elite. 8 is not elite. He'll go with a 0, a goose egg sometimes when he's healthy. And the very next week put up 30. So that's the thing when it comes to fantasy. It's, you want to have the balance, and you've got to play the right guys on a matchup basis. You got to have, for Dynasty, the depth to be able to play the guys that you want to play.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Gabe, since we're in trade corner, I want to throw one more out there, if I may.
We'll
So
humor you,
this
James.
is this is from the YouTube chat from good friend of the show, Matt Threet. He is at Dynasty Butcher on Twitter. He had to run, but he wanted to get this question out. He's in a rebuild dynasty, and Bruce, you can be the first one to chime in on this one. He's in a rebuild, and he's asking if we would give up Jordan Reed and James White for Evan Ingram. If you're rebuilding the team in dynasty, would you do that?
Yes, I definitely would want the Evan Ingram side. I think his value is just going to skyrocket from here going forward. And I don't trust Jordan Reed with the concussions and injuries. And James White, I don't deem him as a perennial long-term asset that's going to hold a sustained value. I want all the Evan Ingram I can get right now.
I agree with that. I would be getting Evan Ingram as in that side, especially if you're in rebuilding mode. I think that's a no-brainer. I like that a lot. I think with Evan Ingram, you're getting what people think Jordan Reed still is. You're getting that player with Evan Ingram. And then just to give up a Patriots running back to get that, I think that's a no-brainer. I tend to try to have as little Patriots on my team as possible, just because.
Well, because you're a Colts fan.
Like Katie was just talking about. Well, no. But like Katie was talking about, it's all about starting those guys in the right weeks in fantasy football. And with Patriots players, you almost never know, unless their name is Tom Brady, you almost never know if they're going to have a good week. Even the most consistent players this year in that offense, Chris Hogan has had 2 games where he's had less than 5 points. So I mean, for me, if I can, all it takes is James White to upgrade that much at tight end, and it is an upgrade in dynasty for sure, and even in redraft, I think at this point that would be an upgrade, just because Vernon Davis is seeing so many targets on that team. They're using him so much. Reed still doesn't trust his foot. He's had the history with concussions, which is obviously a sad thing to see, but it is there. And anytime he goes over the middle to jump up and catch a pass, he has he has a chance of being done for his whole career. And it's sad to see that. But yeah, Jordan Reed is a player that I would not be trying to buy low on if he's out there. I just don't think that, especially with the uncertainty at the quarterback position going forward in Dynasty, if Cousins does leave and they're faced with a rookie quarterback or a lesser quarterback or anything like that, or God forbid Colt McCoy, hook 'em horns for a little bit there, but yeah, no, you don't like Colt McCoy as your starter as a positive for a guy like Jordan Reed. So for me, I think, you like that Ingram is so much younger. You like that this season even he's going to be so involved and more involved than Jordan Reed has been in his offense so far. So I think if you can make that move now, I would do it for sure.
And Josh Doxson.
That's true. The more involved Josh Doxson is in the red zone, the less involved Jordan Reed is in the end zone. I mean, that's the truth.
Man, Reed did get a lot of targets last game, though.
He was cooking.
That's true. Last game against the Eagles. Yep. And then you look at Vernon Davis, and he had a decent game too as the number 2 tight end. So, man, it's weird in Washington.
Yeah, he's really just spreading it out, isn't he?
Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Get him.
Floor is yours, Flower.
All right.
Pollinate.
I like. I'm not a honeybee. I'm being pollinated. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not the pollinator. I'm the pollinatee.
It is that time of night.
I've never done this before.
I like Jordan Reed. He's 27 years old, and he's been injured a lot. I get that. But when he is not injured, he sees targets. He is a game changer. And you can't just as a rebuilder, I would want just a little piece more, whether it's a second round 2018 pick. I just would want a little bit of a juicy something else. I like James White, and he does have value. I wouldn't just give him away to make the deal. And Evan Ingram is hot. I get that. He's going to have fluctuation, though. He will have ups and downs. Look at him 2 weeks ago. He was a 0. He was a 0, guys. Yeah. And he had hurt Odell Beckham Jr., and everybody expected he'd be a good game script, and he had a goose egg. So, yeah, it's dynasty. Jordan Reed is 27 years old. He's not dead. Concussions aside, he's not dead.
Yeah, I would do.
I like the trade, but I would want a little something more on the Ingram side.
Yeah, I think you guys know how much I love Evan Ingram.
No, Jeff, we actually have no idea. Go ahead and tell us about
it. he's my tight end 3 in Dynasty above Zach Ertz, just because I like him long term more than Ertz. He's on a historical pace right now for tight ends, and the beauty of it in fantasy and why I loved him so much pre-draft and why I've been such a fan for him is he truly is a wide receiver playing the tight end position, and he gets. I mean, that's just free money in fantasy. You're playing a wide receiver as your tight end, so he gets that designation. He's how he compares to other rookie tight ends through the first 7 career games. He's got 53 targets, which is the first all time. 30 receptions, second all time. 342 receiving yards, third all time, and 3 TDs, tied for 5th all time. That's historical, and this guy is special, and there's not a weakness to his game for fantasy. You could say his blocking's not great, but they used him in line way more than people thought they would, so they feel comfortable putting him in line if they need to. And, you know, a lot of people are saying, well, now he's the only receiving option in that passing game. Well, he wasn't in the beginning of the season, and he was still putting up good statistics. So I think I like his odds once OBJ, Sterling Shepard, everyone else comes back, because now defenses can't queue on him. So I love that deal. I don't own him in one of my dynasty leagues, and I'm pulling my hair out about it, and I'm trying to acquire him. But yeah, I think that's a steal to get, whether you're rebuilding or not. That's a steal of a deal to get Ingram for Reed and James White.
Hey, what do you guys think he'll be where he'll be going in startup draft 6 months from now?
Good question.
4th round.
I think I'd pull the trigger in the 3rd round, probably.
I mean, I probably would too, but I could see him being in the 4th round.
Consensus, yeah.
In tight end premium, maybe, but that's pretty steep.
It is.
Ryan McDowell and Matt Williamson and Russell Clay just did a 5-round Dynasty startup mock on the Dynasty Blueprint. If I can pull that up, and I'm almost positive he went in the 4th round of that.
Wow, we're only halfway through.
For a start one tight end, non-tight end premium,
yes.
That I'd rather have Adam Shaheen in like the 8th, 9th, 10th round, whatever.
Oh, because OBJ is not dead.
He'll probably forget about it.
But he doesn't
exactly.
Have to
it's Dynasty. OBJ's not dead.
Yeah, that's good.
They may draft a running back next year. They're going to have a high pick. They could draft a quarterback. Saquon.
Yeah, that's all good for him, though. I'm in a firm belief that if
he gets more targets, there's other people that relieve him. I get that.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. He might not get as many targets, but the targets he gets are better targets.
Would be better, right? So. No, I understand. I see what you're saying.
I don't know where I'd value. I guess I don't know where I'd value him. That's tough.
I think the real question is, who's the best tight end in the NFC East?
Are we talking about like the booty, or are we talking about the position?
No,
because if we're talking about the tight end, control, that's Jason Witten all day. That's just. I kid you not. I'm in a redraft league. No, almost. in a redraft league with my family and friends and everything from back home. And my mom's team name every year is Remember the Tight Ends. And she drafts Jason Witten in the first round every year, no matter what, like regardless of scoring format, regardless of whether he's good or not. She drafts Jason Witten in the first round every draft.
Hey, she likes her tight ends, man.
She does. She likes her tight ends.
Scott Fish say we've been pounding.
Shout outs to my mom. It's okay. She won't watch this. It's all good. She watches the TFA morning show, but she doesn't.
Yeah, well, J Mike's mom heard it, and we'll see what happens next time, Kai.
Listen,
gonna get an
it's all
Instagram
good.
about that.
It's all good. Some people like their tight ends. That's not a problem. That's not a problem.
I know I appreciate a good tight end.
It should be celebrated. It should be celebrated.
Yeah, you might see.
But in terms of fantasy, I guess it's Zach Ertz for now and Evan Ingram long term. Or no?
Hunter Henry.
We're talking
not
about
an
the
NFC
NFC East tight ends.
No, I know he's not NFC, but I thought we were just talking tight ends in general. I'm sorry, I forgot.
News.
I
Breaking
saw
news,
the
a trade.
razors spike up off of your back, Katie.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Hey, going back to that mock real quick. I couldn't. I was shaking my head when I was listening to the podcast. Josh Doxson went in the 4th round.
That's gross.
Damn right he did.
Juju Smith went in the
Nope.
4th round.
Nope. Nope. And
I'm
also no.
serious. I'm like, what is going on?
No way.
Recency bias is like, whoa.
So Doxson,
League.
like the biggest Josh Doxson fan in the world, I would understand that pick. But
Isn't he 29 years
Juju,
old?
But for Juju, no way. No way for Juju.
I dislike the Doxson one more than Juju personally.
I mean, they're both pretty bad.
They're
That's
both
pretty
bad.
bad.
That's just early. That's early.
That's so early.
Yeah.
That's why.
the thing. It's not that I hate the player, but it's like the 4th round, you want to get somebody.
I double clutched. I was like, you can't take that risky of a pick that early.
Yeah.
I know those guys like their wide receivers though in the first 4 or 5
Yeah, but
rounds.
a lot of
Who's
running
Washington's
backs went
quarterback
too.
next year? Like you said, Colt McCoy.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's a scenario.
You see the bridge quarterback to whomever they bring on.
Where Colt McCoy starts. Well, he's not going to be healthy the whole season. So Colt McCoy starts 12 games for the Washington Redskins. There's a universe where that is going to exist. I just don't know if it's going to be this one.
As Sheldon from Big Bang Theory would say, in what universe are you talking about?
Listen, the front office of Washington is not one that I have faith in making good decisions. So,
Word.
I mean, I could see them having their own version of this suck for Sam Darnold season.
Is he as that polarizing as Luck?
I mean, to some people, he's becoming that way, and maybe another year and a half of game film will hurt or help that. I know that remains to be seen, but yeah, if he pulls back and decides to go for one more year at USC, I don't know. I think that's possible.
That's the rumor right now.
I'd do it if I was him.
Especially if USC just misses out on the playoff, finishes with 2 losses or 3 losses or something. I think he would be more willing to come back and try to see if he can finish. If they have a bad season, or if then I don't know if he would come back. But
sing it, J.
he's
Mike.
a competitive dude.
Sing it, J. Mike. Baby, come back.
Donald, come back.
There you go.
One more year for USC.
There you go.
I'd rather have Rosen than Darnold anyways.
Rosen's a Richard head.
Ooh, can we get into this?
That's
Can we
fine.
please get into this? I know, Gabe, I know we're running up against
End
it,
it
but
on
can
a QB Debbie take. Let's go.
Yes.
Rosen's a Richard head to his teammates. He's not a leader. He's there's so many flaws. Like, most people are willing to crown him unnecessarily.
I think there's a lot of flaws in Darnold's game though too.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but he at least has poise and leadership And Rosen is, if you look inside the head, he's more like a Johnny Manziel than he is, and a Ryan Leaf than he is. Yeah, I know that's like a, but he's mentally, his makeup isn't quite there with a Sam Darnold.
Well, Katie, is he even the best Josh then at quarterback?
I don't think so. I like Josh Allen, and he's a gunslinger. There's still question marks on him, but you know, that's the thing. That's why I avoid Devy quarterbacks 100% all the time. They're really, on average, only 2 per year that come out and end up being a 3-year starter in the NFL. And then once they're a 3-year starter, they're locked and loaded. They're good. But to get there, there's so much between now and then.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, Katie. I love Devy, but I don't even I'm not a big college football fan, so like I start watching prospects once they're
Georgia, Florida this weekend.
Yeah,
cocktail party.
Once they declare for the draft, that's when I really start watching tape, and that's the only time I'll start even caring about quarterbacks. As far
quarterbacks and tight ends in college, they're meaningless. You know, it's. I look at the running backs and the wide receivers, and pretty much that's it. Yeah. And it's easiest to pick a running back than it is a wide receiver, partly because of the system, partly because of production and opportunity. But when it comes to elite talent at running back, it's pretty much a lock.
Yeah, easiest position to evaluate.
How about Lamar?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
As an absolute,
he might be a wide receiver in the NFL.
He has improved in the span of 1 year. He has improved leaps and bounds in terms of making plays from the pocket. The team around him is so garbage. And mind you, I say all this as a Kentucky fan, and I don't like Louisville at all. That guy has improved greatly. And I've found myself watching more Louisville games than I'd like to admit, which is disgusting. But I personally like Lamar Jackson a lot more than either Rosen or Allen, and probably even Luke Falk. Like I like Jackson a lot.
He's a good college quarterback. He's improved a lot. I get that. I get that.
Oh,
he has. As a college quarterback, he's improved a lot.
So real quick, what is he doing? What is he not showing you this season that wouldn't translate to the NFL? Because what the big argument was last year or the years leading up was that he wasn't making plays from the pocket, but he's doing that now.
That's fine. A pocket in the college game is completely different from the pocket in an NFL game. It's like you're going from game speed of playing Donkey Kong on the old Atari, versus you're playing Madden NFL on a Sony PlayStation 3. It's a completely different game.
I don't dispute that.
And I'm not saying that he won't be. I'm just saying, yes, he has improved. But I'm still not ready to crown him as the 1 or 2 of the class that will make it in the NFL. It's way too soon to tell.
I'm excited to dive into his tape come draft season. A lot of people I respect love him, and a lot of people I respect dislike him heavily.
He is polarizing.
He's a polarizing prospect, and I'm really excited to dive into his tape, and I'm sure I'll have a better opinion come, after this NFL season ends.
Right. I definitely need to watch tape on all these guys before I have a take on any of them. But can we just take a minute to acknowledge that was probably the best metaphor for the transition from college to NFL in the history of sports media? Like, that was the best metaphor for that transition at quarterback. I can't even. That was beautiful.
Thanks.
Well done.
Perfect.
And that's why I rode my bike as fast as I could to get here. I mean, I'm sorry, the borrowed bike. I mean, the bike that I had.
Just the bike.
Yeah, the bike.
You know, you could get a couple
Bike check.
couple game tickets for that bike.
Yeah, is that what's being offered right now?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I might consider that. Juju, where are you at?
He's been a funny guy.
I know,
Twitter.
that's
I don't
I
follow
love
him,
that
but
guy.
I just see people retweet his stuff.
Even Todd Gurley's retweeting his stuff.
Yeah, that Mia Khalifa. Did you guys see that one?
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
She's trolling him big time.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, that one's scary. Stay away, Juju.
Yeah, definitely.
No
He can't drink and he doesn't want any part of that. He's good.
All right, the Astros just tied it up. Go watch some baseball, people. We got to
What is
wrap
it?
this up.
What
3
is
to
the
3.
score? 3-3.
Bottom of the ninth. Dodgers about to walk off, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. No, it's just coincidence. We just actually have to go. Or do we? Do we have to go? Yeah. What, 10:30?
I gotta open another beer.
Well, this was great. We had a 6-pack tonight. Good old-fashioned 6-pack. One of those. Let's say goodbye to everyone. We'll start with you, my lovely pollinating flower.
It's not self-pollinating, just by the way. Everybody's dying. That's all good. No, I'm just happy to be here. I appreciate the invite, and it's been a lot of fun. I love talking football anytime. And like I said, my legs are a little bit tired, but I'm here nonetheless.
So okay, for real, like aside from the Juju joke, you actually biked.
No, I didn't.
Okay. I've been wondering the whole time.
Don't tell the Texas police that I drove here. But yeah, I did.
She was thinking of that joke on her drive.
Yeah.
I was, you gotta have something. If you're gonna be late, you gotta at least be funny, right?
You came out hot. That was good.
By the way, Katie,
Yes,
draft in
Yeah.
Dallas. I'm coming. Are you gonna go?
Sure.
Cool.
When,
Okay, close. the NFL draft, the actual NFL.
I will try my best to get tickets. If you got tickets and you got an extra one, I'm your date.
I am the
I'm your
NFL
flower.
draft. Like what do you think this is? The
Yeah, go ahead and make that pollination joke.
Yeah, I know, right? Not
She's a
so
flower.
funny anymore, is it?
You are unbelievable.
You got Gabe blushing right now.
That was good.
Yeah.
I
That
know.
was good.
I'm off.
I do have tickets to some bowl football game that's just like 10 minutes from my house. I don't even know what game it's going to be, but I got tickets.
Okay. What
Can't say no to college. It's college football bowl game. It's going to be a brand new bowl game right here where Jerry Jones has the stadium in Frisco.
Okay.
And it's going to be probably somebody like Colorado State, which would be cool because I could see Michael Gallup.
Gallup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure.
But it's going to be some low-level college bowl game. But it's 10 minutes from my house, and I got dirt cheap tickets.
There.
I could bike there, and I got tickets on the 50-yard line. So
nice. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the NFL draft will be our second date.
That sounds like a plan, man. I like it.
All
Plus,
right.
I travel a lot, so if I'm ever in any of y'all's area, just let me know.
I think you have to let
3
us
hours
know
south
if
of you.
you're in our area, Katie.
What's that?
I think you have to let us know if you're in our area.
Well, I will let you know, but you let me know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm gonna be in Iowa next week. Anybody in Mason City?
Oh man, I'm from Minnesota.
We've had someone on that was in Iowa before.
It was Corey. Corey's in the Quad Cities. Yeah, Corey's in the Quad Cities.
I'm flying into Minnesota and I'm driving down to Mason City next week.
Nice. Awesome.
So
Beautiful
anybody
part
want
of the
corn?
country.
Yep. I got to turn left at the cornfield.
Hey, Gabe, George was at that. I think he was at that hotel in Iowa.
Yeah. I was like, I wasn't Corey, but I remembered the Corey one, but then I was like, no, that wasn't it either. Someone was like randomly in Iowa.
It was George.
Oh, yeah, okay, got you.
Shout out to George Criticos.
Yeah. All right. Killer Kai, the Kai Missioner.
Ooh.
What's up?
That was not a me nickname. That was a hint. That's on his. That's like true. How I introduced myself to him.
Yeah.
I was like,
I got hats and T-shirts and everything. It's a thing. My family can't stop calling me that because I forced them all into fantasy football. So that's what they refer to me as because I'm the commissioner of that league. But yeah, this has been fun. This has been awesome. Appreciated it. You guys having me on. Anytime you need a DD, I'm here.
We appreciate that, by the way. Never got to say thanks
for
for
sure.
That.
For sure. But you guys can catch me at the Fantasy Authority, TFA. I got a weekly article there, fantasy hot takes of the week. Been right about a couple of things, been wrong about a lot of things, but they're hot takes. They're not supposed to be, not supposed to be hitting 400 on hot takes. So
it wouldn't be hot enough.
It wouldn't be hot enough. You're damn right. It wouldn't be hot enough. I think one of them this year I said Mercedes Lewis would have 3 touchdowns the week after he scored the 3 touchdowns. So that didn't turn out well. I think he had 1 catch. So that was a bad one. But they're not all that bad. Lots of good stuff there too. But yeah, also I'm usually on the Fantasy Authority Game Day Morning Show for people that want to get up that early and check that out. Lineup questions, injury questions, all that good stuff.
Check it out. I agree. I've checked out the Game Day Morning thing. That's a fun little gig that TFA does. So check that one out for sure. And maybe not so much the hot takes, but as far as like starting players, like start sit kind of. Well, maybe home run, whatever.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It gets pretty hot. Kevin Ryan liked to fight on that show. So.
All right, Jake.
What's up?
Preach some knowledge.
I got nothing left.
Okay, on to the next.
Is empty. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm sure I'll see you in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep, that's about the rotation.
All right, we'll do that.
Just go ahead and pencil it in.
Yep.
Yeah, just pencil it in. And that'd be scheduling. So we'll talk in
I don't know what that is.
We'll talk in 3 weeks, an hour before the show.
Yes.
I thought it was 20 minutes.
Yes.
Give or take.
Anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour before the show.
Perception is 70% of reality, Katie. So say what you want, but it's probably those torpedoes.
No, it's all good.
I'm in this zone of like I've been watching this show called Nathan For You lately, and he's just like, if y'all haven't seen it, go check it out for one. But he just like just makes people feel so awkward. So then I've been doing it to my kids lately at school too, just like saying something like totally awkward and just waiting for them to like say something, but they never do because they don't know what to say. So, I've been like subconsciously in that zone, so apologies for that, but it's that's where it comes from. But go check out Nathan For You. Nathan Fielder, if you need a promoter, this is the Dynasty Happy Hour Open Bar. We're looking for promotions, free, completely free. We just gave you one for free, so you may as well just start paying us, pal. Oh, J Mike.
Straight cash, homie.
Straight cash, homie. All right. Bruce.
Bruce.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. You guys can catch me on Twitter at bmats08. I write for DOF. I have a weekly article that comes out. It's a buy, sell, hold article that covers a hot weekly player each week. And I also write for NFL Spin Zone, and I cover the Broncos for them. You can catch me there as well. Thank you guys for having me on.
So you obviously didn't get to choose your team for the Spin Zone. Didn't want to be
I definitely did not. I picked a team that didn't have many other writers covering them, so I could get as much articles as I could write about them.
So you're an opportunity over talent kind of guy?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
This is the man right here.
Wasn't he the one that said he'd take the win of the dynasty team over his team any day?
No, he was Cowboys. He was
Yeah.
Cowboys live or die.
Yeah, I'd take a Super Bowl any day of the week.
Yeah, I think we would take one too, huh, J Mike? Just
Hey, hashtag Saxonville.
one.
Hashtag AFC South Division leading Saxonville Jaguars.
You guys would take a playoff game at this point, huh?
Jacksonville's exciting. I can't wait to watch the rest of their season. They're just a fun team to watch.
You're going to the playoffs.
Is Jacksonville still even part of Florida?
Katie with the cold water. Oh my God.
The Hurricanes didn't hit it that bad.
J Mike, cut her off. Say some words, some positive words.
Hey, another fantastic edition of the Open Bar, man. Always glad to be here. Thank you to our guests and Bruce for breaking his or making his debut on a podcast.
Pollination, baby.
Cherry.
Kai coming through from New Mexico, from the deep depths of the Southwest. Flower coming through on her second appearance. Oh, I love it. Where's the tumbleweed at?
Outside. It's outside by my car, actually.
Yes.
I get stuck under the wheels. It's not good.
So it's obviously week 8's on the horizon, and I'm excited for it. So yes, thank you guys again to all of our listeners. Thanks for checking us out. To everyone in the chat, the Casey Kasem, and everyone else. Big shout out to you guys. Obviously, we cannot do it without you. So thank you, Gabe. Take us home.
It's true. It's a community, and we like to interact with you throughout the show. So join the YouTube chat or talk with us on Twitter, whatever. It's fun, and it makes the show more exciting, and it kind of gives us something to talk about. So definitely do that. J Mike, I'm happy you sounded healthier this week, brother. You were a little under the weather last week, and I'm happy that you're looking and sounding fresh. I just wanted to say right now, my co-host, J Mike, you look good.
My brother, appreciate it. Thank you very much. I feel much better than I was last week. Last week was a bear, and I probably sounded much like a bear too. It was bad.
I mean, well, you always look like a bear. You're a large human.
There's that. There's that.
Yeah, carrying the podcast and all, carrying meme, that Taylor Gabriel GIF.
Stop.
Yeah. All right, I'm at Grab Bag Fantasy. I do things. I'm doing things. I'm not actually doing things. That's an article piece from the Gut Feeling Spot. I'm just
shout out.
Shout outs all around. We shout out so many people.
So many people.
It's amazing. That's why you should be listening. You wait for your shout out because it's probably going to happen. All right, raise your drinks. Do a little cheers. This includes you, Kai. We don't care.
Empty.
Here's little fun stuff. Okay, cool. And we'll see y'all next week. Wednesday, 9:30. Kai, put that shit down. 9:30 every Wednesday. We will
Is he
see
drinking
y'all there.
Colt 49?
Start the car, Kai. I'm ready to go. Start the car.
Start the pedals on